Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Bootleg, a Tennessean high school football live show entering season 4, episode 2. Of course, we're presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans of Tennessee. Coming to you week 2 and with really some heavy hearts this week with all the destruction and the deaths in the Waverly community in Humphreys County. Our thoughts and prayers are with everyone there. Of course, their football complex was destroyed through the floods. Their football program, we'll be talking to them at some point in the upcoming weeks. They're going through a lot right now. Just want everyone to know our thoughts and prayers, like everyone else in the community, are with you all. And now we'll start this week's show. Guest today is Cody White of Brentwood Academy. They're coming off a big win over Florence. And we'll bring Cody in now, and we'll talk about week 2, where they travel to CPA for our game of the week. Joined now, of course, with Cody White, Brentwood Academy football coach. Coach White, welcome to the show. Big win for y'all last week, 35-18 win over Florence. We talked briefly about that. This team is very different from what you had a year ago. Obviously, you had a lot of beef, a lot of FBS talent on the offensive line. How's everything coming together so far with this team?
Well, it's good. I mean, we're really inexperienced is what I would call us. So, we're trying to develop some depth for sure. And, with depth, experience for guys that hadn't played a whole lot. Up front, as you said, we're vastly different. So I'll probably move a little bit better than we did. And so we're trying to take advantage of the fact that, lateral quickness wise, that's going to be the strength of these guys, not necessarily just mashing people off the ball. So, trying to find an identity and see what we are. And, even at the quarterback, Landon does a really nice job, but there's things that he does a lot differently than Taylor did. So, just trying to figure out kind of what we are as we get into region play.
And Landon Wells, he's a first-year starting quarterback for y'all. I think he was did he play some receiver for y'all last year?
Yeah, he started the last couple of years at receiver and then played, I got him in a little bit at quarterback, probably like a do-over. I'd have got him in a little bit more last year than I did. So, but no, he's done a nice job. He's a really smart kid and does a really good job operating what we do, and he's learning quickly. So excited about what he can do.
I think you commented there are some of those guys are playing both ways, and obviously with the heat we've got, I guess you want to develop depth quickly and also hope that it cools off quickly.
Yeah, we'd like a cool front to be a nice thing. We'd welcome that. No, it showed up, but like it does every year, we probably have more. We always have to work our guys both ways. I mean, it's just the reality of us being able to compete in the league we're in. So that's not new, but the number of snaps everybody's getting is probably a little more than normal. Usually we can, our offensive line may be a backup on defensive line, but we're able to, not necessarily have them play 90 snaps. Well, that's not the case, going this year. So, we're trying to find some guys that we can spot play and rest those guys, those two-way guys that are really, really important for us, as far as offensively, defensively goes, and try to figure out a way to rest them as best we can.
Joined on the bootleg by Brentwood Academy coach Cody White. Coach, big game CPA. From my knowledge, this is the first time these two programs have ever played. I mean, it's a big, interesting game of two of the better programs in Nashville.
Yeah, no, we're excited about it. We visited with each other and tried to play this for a while. So, thankfully that Ingle had an opening and we had an opening and matched up. So it ought to be good. We have probably pretty close ties, honestly. A lot of our kids know each other really well and played together when they were younger and similar schools. So ought to be exciting.
How tough is scheduling for you at Brentwood Academy? I mean, it seems it's a chore for a lot of people, but how tough is it? I mean, everyone knows the history behind Brentwood Academy of how many state titles y'all have won, and obviously you guys won on a string of about 4 in a row. I mean, how tough is it? Every 2 years finding 10 games.
It's difficult. I would love for us to be able to play, the Marivols and those kind of people, and they just don't seem to want to reciprocate that. I think it's good for the state, for better teams to play each other, but for a variety of reasons, it's doesn't happen all the time, and so a lot of times we're forced to go out of the state, in a lot of cases. But there's plenty of good programs around here. I think football's gotten a lot better, so hopefully as we move forward, we can get more intrastate kind of things rather than interstate games.
Yeah, and I say that. I mean, I know some people on Chatter, the public-private this last week. There's a lot of great matchups, and I'm a big advocate of these great matchups. I mean, I love seeing a Ravenwood NBA, CPA, Independence. I wish we had more of those because it's good to see big, really good programs get tested and play each other. For y'all, I mean, that's just, I mean, in a way, these games are being played because they have to find games. I mean, you guys are in a situation. There's a lot of people that don't want to play you guys, so it's not like you can schedule a bunch of cupcakes, or not that you would anyway. But you guys have to schedule tough teams because that's all who's going to play you, correct?
Yeah, I mean that's generally how it plays out, and that's good. I mean, it's good for us going in the region. I mean, obviously the concern I get, I don't worry about the record. I don't worry about non-region games, and we want to win them all. There's none of us that aren't hyper competitive, but to be frank, the region games are what matters for us. So if we get non-region games that prepare us for what I think is the toughest league in the state, and it's probably not really arguable, we'll take all those we can get now, and hopefully we stay healthy. That's what the concern.
You guys go west this year, I believe. You're in the West region. Christian Brothers, Briarcrest, MUS, St. Benedict. A little more road travel, but I mean it's nothing new. But how different is this compared to what you've been in the last couple of years when you guys were in East Middle?
Well, I mean the difference is there's no familiarity. I mean we knew each other. We played Baylor and McCallie so many times. It's hard to really count them in the last 9 years because a lot of times we matched up in the playoffs. So we just haven't played. We played Christian Brothers one time since I've been here. Played MUS a little bit more because we scheduled a non-region game with those guys a couple of years. So Bobby and those guys we've seen them a bit. Briarcrest played a couple times in the playoffs. So it's new. And of course, Ensworth travels with us. So I think that's a little bit. I mean, it's kind of it's maybe refreshing in a way. Just somebody new, but of course, it'll end up being a gauntlet, just like everything is.
CPA, what makes them so good from what you see on film?
Well, their experience. They've won a lot, and Engle does an exceptional job with his staff. They're disciplined. They play really hard. I mean, I get a lot of pleasure out of watching them. I watch them on the defensive side because I deal with their offense mostly, and just watching how they play, I'd be proud to coach them. I mean, they get to the ball, and technically they're very, very sound, and so they're not going to beat themselves. I think they're a lot like playing an NBA. I mean, it's that kind of deal where you're going to have to earn everything. They're not going to give you anything, and I think those are exciting challenges, and it's something I hope I hope people say that about us as well. So
we talked a little bit about Landon Wells. Just compare him to other quarterbacks you've had. How does he compare differently? I mean, you've had some great ones there, but what does he bring to the table at quarterback for y'all?
Well, his legs would be the start, and that doesn't mean he can't throw it, but he's extremely quick. It's kind of hard to corral. So he'll do a nice job. And that way, he's a little bit like J.O. He's going to be able to keep plays alive. And Taylor can do that a bit. Probably doesn't have the arm that Taylor had. A little bit different in the pocket than Taylor is. So, we'll probably gear things a little more to play action stuff, as far as that goes, and utilize him a little more in the running game. I ran Taylor very little last year, although he was capable of it. We just didn't do it. So, we'll tweak it a bit just to fit his skill set. But he understands what we're doing, and he takes care of the ball. I think he's going to take care of the ball well, which is important. And so it's up to us to kind of put him in a good position.
I think last year at times you tried a few people at running back, but really settled at one point on Deuce Scott, and he's a physical, big bruiser of a guy. I mean, he's a different kind of guy than what maybe you've had at pass. I mean, he will truck over a person.
Yeah, he's really worked hard in the weight room and gained some weight. And last year probably would have got on the scene a little bit earlier. He was coming off a knee surgery, so really wasn't healthy till about the 5th or 6th week. So we're excited about having him. He came on last year, and I think has improved himself. From the work he's done in the weight room and on the track and those kind of things in the spring and summer. So we're excited about him, and we have some other guys. I think I feel really good, honestly, about 4 deep at running back. But right now he'll probably be the main guy, and those other guys help us in a variety of other ways on different sides of the ball and on special teams. So we feel good about it, but he'll be the featured guy. He's an exceptional young man as well.
With everything you went by, what we all went through what everyone went through last year, how is it good to kind of have a lot more normalcy this year, at least on the field?
Oh, it's really, really refreshing for us. So hope it stays that way. Hope it we're able to kind of continue down the road and let these kids have what feels like a nice normal season with stands being packed and the excitement and the feel of the game. I think that's what they do it for.
Yeah, it was really nice last week seeing both student sections at NBA Ravenwood, both student sections back at capacity cheering, and really nice to see from that standpoint, knowing that they couldn't really all be there last year.
Yeah, no kidding. It'll be nice. It was I think it was a strain on the kids and the administrators for sure, just trying to balance everything and do it the right way, and just it's a little bit more relaxing, and you're able to kind of focus on what's important now.
Okay. Well, Brentwood Academy travels to CPA game of the week here at the Tennessean, 7 p.m. Kickoff. Coach White, I will see you Friday night, and good luck to you.
Sounds good. Thanks, Tom. I appreciate it.
Great. Thanks, Coach.
Goodbye.
We've been joined by Cody White of Brentwood Academy, joined us on the Bootleg presented by Farm Bureau Health Plans. We'll be back in a moment as we bring in Joe Spears of the Tennessean. Joined live with Joe Spears. Joe, it's week 2. Our picks need to get a little bit better. I think we both went 7-3. I secretly glanced at your picks just to make sure I don't pick everything you do because you missed 3 games and I did too, but I'm going to blame that on you. So let's just start. We'll go rapid fire. First, obviously, we need to touch on the Waverly flooding situation. They're not playing this week. They were scheduled to go to Columbia Academy. They have canceled that game. Coach Randall Bolton just basically said, hey, we needed more time to get ready, after the flood and everything. So they're going to come back next week, and they'll get started playing again. Our thoughts and prayers obviously goes to them. And I think McEwen got hit some, and I know the town of Aaron got hit hard with some flooding as well. From what I understand, that school is fine. I think they're on a hill. Obviously we want, our thoughts and prayers with them. And then also, Joe, I put you on the spot. Public-private was a big conversation Friday night when the private schools went 4-1 against Nashville area schools, 5-1 if you want to count Brentwood Academy going down to Alabama. What do you like or dislike? Are you a fan of these games?
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think you want to play the best competition, right? I was at Independence, and Independence CPA is defending D2 AA champion. I mean, why wouldn't Independence want to play them? And I think we'll get onto it with our picks here in a bit. Independence plays Lipscomb Academy this week. I think that prepares them for the grind that will be their region. With Ravenwood, Summit, and Brentwood, and all those other teams. I personally think it's fine. It may not be the results they want, but it helps prepare them for the grind when you're trying to make the playoffs later in the season. So you want to play the best teams. If you win, you win. If you lose, it's a good learning experience.
And that's what Cody White from Brentwood Academy kind of said. My take on this is these games are being scheduled out of necessity. There's not a lot of people lined up right now that want to play Lipscomb Academy, CPA, NBA, Ravenwood, Independence, Oakland. They play CPA later in the season. Independence, all these teams you're seeing these matchups, they really have to schedule them out of necessity, or they're probably going out of state. That's just the grim reality of scheduling. Is a lot of people are not going to schedule these teams because they know they don't match up well. But no, I think the benefit is we do see these games. I love seeing Ravenwood NBA. I would love to see Ravenwood, Brentwood Academy, and Innsworth, and all these guys. I think we see some of the best games, and granted that was a 56-28 game, and it really wasn't that close between NBA and Ravenwood. But Ravenwood had some people out. Could have possibly been a little bit closer game. I think NBA was head and shoulders the best team, though, regardless. So I'm a big fan of these games. I think these are the games as reporters we want to see. We want to see the best of public versus private, because we see great games with a lot of talent on there. Absolutely. So that's my take on that. So we're going to go get started now. Game of the week, Brentwood Academy at CPA. Of course, we've got some intel from Coach Cody White, talking to him about the game, about his team. Joe, give me your spiel on this game.
I think after week one, this is a really intriguing matchup. Cade Law, I think they're going to kind of treat this like they did Independence. They may let the reins go a little more. He didn't play a whole lot against Independence. He was recovering from a stress fracture in his foot he suffered during the baseball season. So last Friday was really his real first action. I think they'll let the reins go a little bit. Might see Langston Patterson a little more on the offensive side. He really did most of his damage defensively. Brentwood Academy, that was an impressive win down in Florence. I mean, to go out of state and get a win like that, it's never easy. So I think this could be a really fun matchup. I do think CPA is the better team from what I saw. I like this CPA team a lot. They got all the pieces on both sides of the ball. I got them winning 38-20. I think Cade Law has a big game again.
I think there is a big difference between Division II AA and AAA in a lot of cases. I do think this is a special CPA team. I don't want to take this game for granted, because I think BA is going to hang around. I think CPA wins this game 24-21. A game that they play every year at NBA. Pearl Cone at NBA. I saw NBA, you saw Pearl. Let me give your analysis on this game first, Joe.
Pearl without Barry Brown was really impressive against Cane Ridge. You got Jaden Robinson really coming in there, kind of setting the tone there early, pounding the ball. And then Malachi Cromwell rushes for 230 yards and 3 touchdowns. He's only a sophomore, so I think we're going to be hearing his name a lot the next couple seasons. They get Barry Brown back, which is huge. And Kashawn Tarleton, he was okay throwing the ball. They really wanted to establish the run. I think they'll throw a little more with Barry in there, and you put him in the backfield, maybe running the Wildcat with Robinson and Cromwell. That's dangerous. I just think NBA, after what I saw they did from your videos and stats and everything, I think NBA's got a little too much. I've got them winning 38-31.
I think this right here, when I'll give you this score, and you'll know how I'm on the fence. Pearl beat them 2019, first time Pearl Cone High School had ever beaten Montgomery Bell Academy. That was, I guess, 2019, 2020. They did not play due to COVID. I'm going NBA. NBA, I think, wins this game. I really am impressed with Marcel Reed. I think he has grown immensely as a quarterback. He looked like a third-year starting quarterback there. I'm going NBA 28-27. I just think Pearl Cone has got enough athletes that they're going to figure out a way to keep this thing close. They've got more speed than the Ravenwood has, and I just think this can be a really interesting game at Tommy Owens Stadium there. Independence at Lipscomb Academy. This is where Joe Spears will be. Break this one down for me.
It's all about trying to slow down Luther Richardson for Independence. Kind of a perfect game he had last week, going 16 for 16, 277 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also ran one in. They blew out Greater Atlanta Christian 76-7. I thought Independence looked okay at times against CPA, especially in the first half. They kind of crumbled there late. CPA didn't let them run the ball. Joe Cummings had his moments, but he also threw 2 picks, including kind of the game-sealing pick 6 there in the third quarter. I just think Lipscomb Academy they've got way too much. Luther Richardson's rolling right now. I think it's kind of a similar game to what Independence played last week against CPA. So I got Lipscomb winning 45-28.
I guess after this game, you can ask Scott Blade which D2 AA team is better. I think those are the top 2 teams. CPA, they played them last week, and now Lipscomb. Like you said, I mean, it's a win for that Independence defense if they can just get Luther to throw a incompleted pass, right? So,
right.
after going 16 of 16. I like Lipscomb Academy to win this game. I'm picking 49-28 over Independence. I just think I really love this game, though, because you got two great offensive-minded coaches with Trent Dilfer and Scott Blade going, kind of a chess match, I think, on the sidelines. It's going to be a great game, I think, to watch if you're an offensive-minded coach. Yeah. Father Ryan at Brentwood. Brentwood still looking for that first win for Clint Finch. Ryan wins big over East Nashville. What you got on this one?
Father Ryan just kind of took it to East Nashville. They outgained them 374 yards to 107 and a 35-6 win. So never really close. I think they get a little more of a challenge with the Brentwood team that they're gonna want to rebound from that last week. Blackman proved us all wrong, pulled the upset. They offensively were really good. For Father Ryan, it's going to be about slowing down Scott Collins. He had 247 yards and 4 touchdowns last week. Brentwood needs Davis White to have a better game. He went 15 for 26, only threw 1 touchdown. I think they get that out of him this week. I think it's close, though. I think Father Ryan's I think they've improved a lot, and they're going to be probably a team to keep an eye on this year. But I got Brentwood winning 31-27.
I think Brentwood is better than what they showed last week. Had some mistakes there. I really like what Coach Brian Rector's done with this Father Ryan team. He's really kind of built this program back. It's been a slow process, but they made some progress last year. Significant progress last year. I like Father Ryan to win this. This is one of our disagreements. I like Father Ryan to win this game 24-14 over Brentwood. So this is where I will start to make my move on Joe Spears.
All right.
Upperman. They play Trousdale County. Break this one down, and for the last 5 games, let's speed this process up.
Yeah, this should be a fun one. Upperman beat Cookeville 28-6 behind Terrence Deadman. He had 133 yards and a touchdown, not 7 touchdowns. Defensively limited Cookeville to 176 yards. I think they'll get a little more of a test this week. Trousdale County, kind of like we said, one of the only public school to beat a private school last week here in the Nashville area. They scored a last-minute touchdown. I think Upperman's got a little too much. I've got them winning 24-17.
Adam Kane might be if he continues to win, he's going to be the hottest coaching prospect in Middle Tennessee if he isn't already. I know he was up for several jobs last year, but I mean he has built something at Upperman. And you think of Upperman, you think of you don't think of football, you think of girls basketball. And he's really made that a really strong program. I've got Upperman 20-14, in what should be a really good game against a storied program in Trousdale County. Coach Satterfield's doing a great job there. Ravenwood at BGA. Ravenwood needs a win. BGA has got a lot of confidence after beating Nolensville. What you got?
Yeah, and Ravenwood, kind of like you said, a lot of yards, but they turned the ball over way too much, missing their two corners against NBA. That really hurt them. I think they do get back on track this week. I think it's kind of a close game. Maybe they pull away late. Chris Parsons, maybe with a rushing touchdown or passing touchdown in the fourth quarter to put it away. They're going to have to focus in on Sean Williams, though. He had 3 touchdowns in that win over Nolensville, had a really good game, almost 200 yards. But I think Ravenwood bounces back. I've got them winning 35-21.
Here's the part you don't know about, because I get little stats here and there that you don't know. Here's why Ravenwood wins this game. Nolensville lost that game, but they threw over 300 yards in the game, 322 yards. I think Chris Parson has a good night throwing the football. I think Ravenwood wins this game 42-14.
Okay.
Good Pasture at Nashville Christian. Of course, Good Pasture won game number 1 for Greg Cotton there. They held off USJ 29-28, I believe it was. Nashville Christian wins impressively. I think this is an interesting Division II game. Nashville Christian, I think, is one of the best teams in Division II Single A. What you got?
Good Pasture kind of one of a weird game. They scored in the final minute. USJ scored in the final minute to pull within 1, but then they failed a 2-point conversion. That's how Good Pasture won 29-28. That's a good win. USJ is going to be a team to keep an eye on out west. They could potentially be a state champion, so that's a good win for the Cougars. Nashville Christian, they only led by 3 after the first quarter, and then kind of put it on. They kind of put it on them after that on FRA. Tyler Morris had a really good game for them. I think he could have another one, and I think Nashville Christian comes out with a win here, 24-17.
I agree. I think Nashville Christian wins this. I think USJ, Nashville Christian, and probably DCA are the top 3 teams in any order you want in Division II Single A. Nashville Christian wins this game 17-7 for Coach Jeff Brothers. Henry County at Beach. Beach wins impressively against Farragut in their debut in 6A. Henry County is looking for kind of re-examining themselves after Summit. Not only one, but one big. What you got here?
Henry County just had no answer for Dustin Wade. He almost ran for 300 yards, 4 touchdowns. They really struggled offensively. I think maybe they'll have some of those issues again this week. Beach, really impressive against what we thought would be a good Farragut team. I think they'll still be good this year, but defensively they really did well. They outgained them. Patrick Hill kind of put the game away in the final minute, scoring a 30-yard touchdown. I think Henry County bounces back kind of, but I've still got Beach winning this one, 27-20.
I go Beach 21-17 in this game. I think Beach is going to be surprised. I think Beach is going to surprise some people in 6A this year. Mm-hmm. Going to a Saturday game, Oakland at Madison Ridgeland Academy. That's in Mississippi. I believe that's a 2:30 start on Saturday, folks. That is an ESPN2 game where Jordan James and Isaiah Horton head down to Mississippi from Madison Ridgeland. What you got?
Yeah, kind of like we predicted. Oakland, not a lot of issues with Hendersonville week 1. This Oakland team's just kind of on another level. They win 42-7. Jordan James 3 total touchdowns. They take on a team that gave up 58 points in its week 1 game. Madison won 56-7 last week, but I just think traveling out of state, I think Oakland may give up a couple touchdowns. That's a tough thing to do. But I still got them winning 45-21. Jordan James with another huge game.
I'm going an upset. Madison Ridgeland Academy will win 17-14. Name to know Stone Blanton. He's the number 7 recruit in Mississippi. He's a linebacker. I believe he's the top recruit in Mississippi that has not yet committed. A lot of star power in that game with Stone there and a couple kids out of Oakland and Jordan James and Matt and Isaiah Horton. It's just a hunch. I got to pick a couple games different than you, right, Joe?
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
I think that's the rule. So Ensworth at Baylor, last game to talk about. Ensworth, big win last week against Evangelical Christian School. Dominated that game. Now they head down to Chattanooga, Baylor. No longer a region game. Of course, Ensworth and BA are now in that West region for the next 2 years. Talk about this one.
Yeah, Levi Moore with a really impressive game against ECS. He had more touchdown passes than he did incompletion, so that's always good. Shamar Porter with a great game, 7 receptions for 94 yards and a touchdown. Jacob Page had 2 touchdowns. And defensively, they limited ECS to 97 yards. That'll win you a game. Baylor, a great win as well. They won 35-21. Last year, this was a really good game, even though Ensworth struggled last year. Baylor beat them 30-28. I think Ensworth is going to be a fun team this year. I think Levi Moore's going to have a really good year, and I think they get the win here. They win 28-24.
I think our Division II AAA teams are probably all going to be fun to watch. I think they're all going to be very competitive games. I think you look at NBA, and you look at JP2, and you look at Father Ryan, and you look at BA, and you look at Ensworth, and I might be missing one, but you look at all those Division II AAA teams, they're going to be playing at another level this year. There's not a really, really weak one in that bunch, I don't think. I'm with you. I think Ensworth is going to be fun to watch. Shamar Porter sat out last year after transferring from Lipscomb. Him and Jacob Page, they're both underclassmen. I believe they're both sophomores. Mm-hmm. No, they're juniors.
Juniors, yeah.
Yep, they're both juniors, and they're going to be 2 big time prospects for us to watch there. And you throw in Levi Moore, who's a young quarterback. They're going to be good for the next couple of years. I think Ensworth goes down to Baylor. I think they win this game 31-24, and that's what we got for week 2 there, Joe.
A lot of good games.
If you want to change any of your picks, Joe, I'll give you one last chance.
I'm good. I'm comfortable with my picks. Are you comfortable with your Oakland pick?
I am comfortable. So I feel good about that pick, honestly, to be honest with you. So that wraps up the bootleg. One bit of breaking news. At least while we're recording this, Blackman has lost their game with Gallatin scheduled for week 2. Gallatin has gone into has some COVID concerns, so Blackman is now looking for another game. As we record this segment, they do not have a game yet. Follow us on Tennessean.com and go to dnj.com where Cecil Joyce covers Blackman. So if they find a game, we'll report that. I think I had 11 or 12 games canceled last year. Some games were rescheduled for different opponents, but interesting week 1. I would say I'm glad we survived it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. That's a wrap for week 2 of the bootleg. I want to thank our sponsor, Farm Bureau Health Plans of Tennessee. We can't do these shows without their support. And we'll see you next week, week 3 of the bootleg.